Let's begin today's Vanguard news with Bushiroad still attempting to make Astria good, as well as Zero's cards in the SkyRide manga and EasyBT02. Griffith's Chimera when placed on rear guard lets you pay 1 discard if you have a Almagista Vanguard to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, then add one of them and putting the rest either on top of your deck or into your soul, and this unit gets 5k power. I'm not even sure if a budget version of Spiral Cutie Angel can make this deck function better at this point. Star Servant Demon Girl by Franz when placed on rear guard from hand lets you pay 1 counterblast to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then add one of them, putting another into your soul and discarding the rest. And once per turn while on rear guard, you can pay 1 soul and 3 energy blast if you have a Almagista Vanguard to put up to 1 Astria card or critical trigger from your deck into your soul. Then call up to 1 card with both a different name than this card and a grade equal or lower than your Vanguard from your drop zone. The fact that this card puts a Astria card into the soul is basically telling players that Astria Bako Masks is still the only way to play the deck. On a side note, expect this card to be the design for this set's sneak peek event, because Dark States always seems to get the best waifu designs. Vajra is your typical D-series starter that's probably the whitest dragon you'll ever see in Dragon Empire, because making this a Keta Sanctuary deck was too mainstream. Rising Star Vajra, while on Vanguard during your turn, gets 2k power for each of your rear guards. And while on Vanguard, you can pay 1 Soul Blast instead when you would ride from your Ide deck. The fact that this deck encourages players to rush early with your cards in hand while compensating it by changing the ride cost next turn is really good card design. Shooting Star Vajra once per turn while on Vanguard lets you reveal a Vajra card from your Ide deck if you have 4 or more rear guards to get an extra crit this turn. And when this unit is ridden over, add up to 1 grade 2 card from the top 7 cards of your deck. You search your entire deck instead if a grade 3 or higher Vajra card rides over this card. Considering how Zero uses this card on the first chapter, this might be the first deck in the game that riding into grade 3 is an optional move. Stride decks that isn't Shiranui got cucked so hard because they can't grade 2 stall against this deck. Stardust Blade is a normal order card that can only be played by paying 1 counterblast, and you have a Vajra Vanguard to call up to 1 unit card with a grade equal or lower than your Vanguard from the top 5 cards of your deck. Then give your Vanguard an auto ability that lets you call up to 1 normal unit from your deck when your rear guard is retired by your opponent's card effects, and a continuous ability that gives your Vanguard 3k power for each normal unit on your rear guard and drop zone. Bushiroad is no longer hiding the fact that this is just an impact card from Buddy Fight, and outside of premium format, how would the opponent get to retire your rear guards during your turn? Unless Zero's opponent's deck is also made real, this part of this order card is totally useless and just serves as flavor effect from the manga. Relight the Star Vajra once per turn while on Vanguard lets you pay 3 energy blast to bind one of your opponent's rear guards, then call up to 1 grade 2 card from your drop zone. And while on Vanguard, you can pay 1 counterblast when it attacks to stand one of your grade 2 rear guards. You're not seeing wrong. This card is just a rare considering the lore of Zero's cards. In fact, Vajra is basically Vanguard's version of Yusei's deck from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, being that it uses a lot of quote-unquote trash cards. The grade 1 powers up like Junk Warrior, the grade 2 unit and order card is outright titled Shooting Star and Stardust, and they play the card game by riding their units akin to riding duels. Although this actually pairs better with Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5's solid vision thing, but you get the idea. Finally, the last monthly Bushiroad promo card is a new Blaster Blade card called Blaster Blade the Vanguard. While in your soul, your grade 3 Majesty Lord Blaster Vanguard's original power becomes 18k. While in your hand, you can pay 1 counterblast and binding your grade 3 Blaster Vanguard that is from a Royal Paladin clan at the end of the battle your Vanguard attacked to ride this card and gets 5k power. You ride the bound card for this effect in rest at the end of the battle this unit attacked. And when he's placed on Vanguard, you can pay 3 energy blast to retire an opponent's rear guard. Take note that this card does not count towards Majesty Lord Blaster's skill, since he specifically needs the regular Blaster Blade. And besides the fact that this makes Majesty Lord Blaster's base power count as Shiranui, and how this card mimics next stage in Chronogit's ability, the wording of this card makes it that you can keep rewriting multiple copies of this card in hand, since Majesty Lord Blaster would return to the Vanguard at the end of the battle, which lets you pay the cost once more. The lack of oversight is overshadowed by them wanting the last promo card for the magazine to be really good. And considering how Blaster Blade is irrelevant in the D series compared to Chronogit, who can blame them? And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments how Vajrala is the real synchro summon of Dragon Empire and not Gryandra.